I did that this week. I started the recording.
You did. I'm proud of you, Greg.
Yeah. I want to pat myself on the back.
Well, since you get to start the recording, Last Man In Podcast, episode 33.
3.
Cameron and Greg, ongoing negotiations.
Well,
yet
you know
again.
what? We don't
You know what it is at this point?
He's not. No, he's
You're
out.
right.
He's out.
You're right. You're right.
Featuring when it's
It's
with
featuring. Did you guys like that? Added that was in the title. Although I feel like it gives him more power because when you see like Last Man In Podcast, all you see is featuring Dan Rudy. Like that's the one thing I focused on. I'm like, how come my name can't be there?
Because you know what?
Because
we're official cast members. We don't need to be featured.
You're
we don't
right.
need to be special guests.
Yeah, we don't need guest starring.
Yeah.
Dan, we don't need
We're
guest
the
starring.
core. We're what
Exactly.
people come for.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when people watch Friends, they went for the main cast of Matthew Perry, Matt LeBlanc,
Jennifer Aniston, Gwyneth
Lisa
Paltrow.
Kudrow. No, that's Lisa Kudrow, not Gwyneth Paltrow. That was
What?
Courtney Cox. Was the other girl in the show. And then David Schwimmer. was
Gwyneth
the last
Paltrow.
one. No, Gwyneth Paltrow was not in the show.
Yeah,
No,
the blonde
she was
one.
not. No, Lisa.
Cat.
That's Lisa Kudrow.
Right. Okay.
Do
Why
not
don't-
do not have grumbles.
I don't really like Friends that much, so
Oh,
sorry.
Wow.
I don't like a lot of
this
TV
is why
shows.
you don't have friends.
Yeah, you're right. Because I don't.
You don't.
Hey, now Friends, the intro. I always wondered this when I was younger. Was it an acronym? FRINENDS? Because
No.
they put spaces in between in
No,
the
that
intro.
was just the way they made it.
They don't understand proper like graphic design or anything? Or?
That was just the way they did it to differentiate themselves. It's
Oh,
like, did
okay.
you know why the Simpsons are yellow?
Because because it's hard to convey beige skin? I don't know.
No, because Family Guy does it pretty well. No, it's because whenever you turn the TV and you saw yellow people, you know the Simpsons was on.
You're right. And that gentleman like who was like huge into that, he just passed away.
Just passed away.
I don't know the guy's name. I'm a terrible fan, but
It's okay. I play on a hockey team called the Simpsons.
you're right, you do.
We're going to Windsor, Ontario next year
Really?
for a hockey tournament. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I get
For a
to.
World Cup, there's going to be teams from everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
We should try and trade jerseys. Are you guys going to do that?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe.
Like in your last game? See if
I don't
you
know,
trade
that's
jerseys.
That's my heart and soul. Mine says.
How about are they going to have merchandise and then
Ooh,
you
maybe.
trade with other teams?
Mm.
Wonder who the
Or-
farthest team's going to be from, like worldwide. Finland.
There's definitely Russian. There's a couple Russian teams. There's.
What's the skill level in this, Greg?
It's beer league. You cannot have anybody who played professional league hockey on your
Simpsons,
teams.
though.
Yeah.
On our team, we hold up. I mean, we're
gonna
not as
say-
good as you guys,
I'm
but
gonna
we can hold up
say
against
it'll
you guys.
be like it'll be kind of our level, anyways. I think it'll just be mostly. Our
Oh,
level.
really? It's not going to be like. Oh, I guess you can't play any. Not even semi-pro, right?
Yeah, I think that's.
Okay, what is it?
works.
What do they mean though? Like WHL level? Does that count as pro?
I'm not sure.
And
I'm not
Russians,
sure
they're
how it
pretty
works.
good at like smudging papers and stuff, are they not? I don't know.
I wouldn't
I
know.
think I just slandered all of Russia with that line. I'm sorry. Okay, what are we here for? We're here for a podcast, are we not?
A podcast about hockey.
About hockey.
Although there's a lot of other stuff going on in the sports world if you follow any other sport.
yeah,
such as-
NFL free agency.
NFL free agency, the Raptors
I
league
don't know what's
worst
going
right
on.
now. They're like 1-9 in the last 10 games,
Really?
allowing over 100 points a game.
Well, now every giant for the
NCAA for March Madness
Madness?
starts
Hey.
next week.
Really, who's the seedings?
Well, right now Kentucky, I think, has not lost still all year.
Really?
Is it Kentucky? Oh my God, I'm butchering.
Are
Is
those
it
the Cameron
Kansas?
crazies?
No,
Cameron
it's-
crazies?
It's Kentucky, right? It's got to be Kentucky. That
You go research this. While you do that, I'm going to say the first names that popped in my head for March Madness, which I'm going to preemptively guess: Wake Forest and the Cameron Crazies, which would be the Duke Blue Devils. Why Cameron Crazies? I don't know what they call them now.
Duke's doing well. I don't know.
I also like
about-
Ole Miss because their logo is a pretty much an old racist dude. It looks like the Colonel from KFC. That's what it reminds me of. Jackson,
Ole
the
Miss?
home of. They're based out of the capital city in Mississippi,
Is this
which is
Grantland?
Jackson, Mississippi, named after one of the presidents, Fred Jackson. Fun fact. You're welcome, everybody. Last Man In Podcast.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, well, while Greg.
Well, no, yeah, Kentucky's the top right now.
top
I'll
dog
give
diggity.
you. I'll give you top 10. Maryland, Notre Dame. This is as currently Kansas, Gonzaga,
Where's Gonzaga based out of? Montana.
Montana,
Okay.
Virginia,
Virginia what?
whatever Virginia. It's Virginia.
Virginia
Wisconsin. It's just
The
Virginia.
Badges. Okay, the Badges.
Arizona.
Zona Sunda
No,
State.
No, Arizona State Sun Devils.
I heard
Arizona
that's a
Wildcats.
place. I heard you go there to party.
Arizona Wildcats.
Oh wow.
Villanova.
Wait, hold on. Back to ASU,
Duke,
though.
and then Kentucky.
Duke. I'm taking
Duke's 2.
Duke and Wake Forest.
I don't know where Wake Forest is. But
Arizona State, though. That place you go.
Dude,
whenever you hear parties, Arizona State.
yeah, they have a Div 3 hockey team. I should have gotten on that board a long time ago. Because I could have played Div 3 hockey.
And then
potentially.
partied with the ladies.
Partied hard and been like, I'm a hockey player. And they'd be like, what sport? Hockey.
What's
hockey?
that? Tonsil hockey.
Wow.
That's why we have an explicit tag. All right. So this week,
Just to get you back, we are a hockey podcast. Even
Yeah,
though
you brought it up.
That was the most basketball you'll ever hear me talk about, except maybe like next week. March Madness is the only hockey or only
it's
basketball.
fine. We got to get it out of our system. We got to enjoy. That's like Americans. They only truly. Yeah, that's right. I'm going there, Americans. You only truly like hockey when playoffs are around, and only if your team's in
Or
it.
Olympics.
Or Olympics. Dang it. Olympics are the first one I was going to say, but I blanked, so I just started talking.
Where do you go?
America. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, so hockey.
The Jets this week, they played 3 games since our last podcast. They played the Sens.
Are we going in depth here? No. What happened in the Suns game? That was the
3-1
Army
loss.
night. Yes, too. And
And
Michael
Buff
Hyman.
got hurt.
Buff got hurt. Little got hurt.
Buff got hurt. He's out 2 to 4 weeks with an upper body injury.
Yeah.
And Little got hurt. How long's he gone for?
Might be back this week.
Without explaining why I wasn't playing in the Preds game that I watched.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, that was also like the Forces night. So they wore the camel jerseys as they came out of the tunnel. But they had to play against Red Hot goalie. Is it Michael Hammond?
Wait, so they came out of the tunnel and all you saw were floating heads?
Wow.
Guys, I'm feeling it.
Oh.
Tonight. Can you feel it calling in the air tonight? Hold on. Hold on. How you feel it? All right, got it in there. I didn't sing last week. Expect one more song later this podcast. Which one? I have no idea. We're losing it, guys. We're losing it. How was the Sens game, though? How was it?
I didn't watch it.
Greg looks just disheveled. His hair is a mess.
All I heard about this game was, once again, just reiterated the point that I've tried to hammer home all year. It's Sportsnet not very good at broadcasting hockey games.
Don't you put that evil on sports?
They allegedly are poor at broadcasting hockey games. Apparently, there were a lot of enraged Jets fans about how there was such an Eastern bias and how there was that sense that it was all Sens and how the Sens could do no wrong and the Jets weren't a good enough team to even be a part of that game. That's kind of the sense that some Jets fans got. And it's all perception, of course, but
they also have the right to do that because they're Ottawa. They're Ottawa's home broadcast team. Oh, it's just because we are fortunate enough to have TSM, but we have Dennis Bayak, and Bayak gets equally as excited for some teams as he does. Like in year 1, I will never forget this because I was with Dan at Dan's house watching the Caps game.
Who's Dan? I don't know.
Dan?
I don't know who that is.
Dan.
Is that or is guest star?
Dan?
On the show?
It is.
Dan.
Beaver. Dan.
Oh, no, I said Dan.
Oh, Dan. Yeah, that's correct. That is our guest star.
You mean like former cast member that's now been...
cast aside.
Yes.
That's a poor choice. You can't use cast twice, can you? Sounds stupid.
Yes.
We've chosen to part ways with his
Full-time.
weekly services. Yes, there you go.
There we go.
So I was watching the game, and Dennis Bayek's like, Nicholas Backstrom to Mike Green. Mike Green over scores! And it's like, hey, Dennis, where do your, what's that word? Where do your something lie?
I can't think of the word.
No!
What is her
allegiance lie. There you
we
go.
go.
I love how one person out there was like, you guys are idiots. It's allegiance. It's allegiance. Just yelling at their phone or computer, whatever you listen to on. I want to know, actually, what do you guys listen to this on? Tweet at us.
Anymore.
Seriously. You don't
Because
even
I have a
listen?
LifeProof case now, and the thing that like extended with the headphone thing, I lost it randomly one day. I was going to a job interview, and it was in my phone still. So
I'm the only one who listens to it now?
Casted it aside, yeah. Pretty much.
Oh, wow. You
sorry.
guys, you don't even listen
No,
to
sorry, I do
podcast?
listen to it, like half of it on my computer, and then I fall asleep.
Oh, okay. So we're only good enough for you to fall asleep on.
No, but I like falling asleep to the sound of my own voice, because it's so
Nice.
beautiful.
I do it too. I make personal recordings, though. And they sound like, Day 1. Cameron. It's nice outside today. Nice outside yesterday. How creepy was that? That's going to sound real weird. That's going to sound so weird in your headphones if you're listening to headphones. All right, let's get back here. Holy smoke.
Was the sky blue today? Was the sun shining bright? Did the itsy bitsy spider walk up the water spout again? I don't know. I don't remember it.
Anyone who we've ever had as a fan is gone. We're listening to ourselves talk like hours from now. That's it. We've lost all hope.
That's fine.
All right.
we
So the
entertain
Sens
one
game,
person.
though, yeah, there is an incredible bias, apparently. I didn't listen to the game with audio, so I watched the first with no audio. I was just at a friend's house, and they didn't have it loud enough, and we were all talking, so it was just kind of in the background. But
I don't like your new ways, Cameron.
it was Bruce Garriock, and
It was Dave Randorf.
what's wrong with Randorf? I like Randorf.
Ooh, boy, apparently he was not good in this one.
Get out
Bradford.
of town. Come
Yeah.
on.
Like most, though, when they leave and go to Sportsnet, they just fall apart.
Wait, so he's not on TSN, CFL either, is
No.
he?
No.
Really?
No.
Does TSN still
That's
have CFL?
why. Yeah, TSN still has CFL. But
Why
that's
would he
why
go
Brad
over?
Smith. I guess more money.
Wait, so CFL is going to suck this year, is what you're telling me?
They didn't have him last year. They had Rod Smith last year on the panel. For those who don't know what the CFL is, that's a Canadian
right.
Football League. Apparently, there's two people here that actually care about it. One, because Cam's a Rider fan, and that's the only fan base that actually cares about the CFL and thinks that it's better than the NFL.
I don't think that at all. Don't put that evil thing on me. I like the CFL, but it is not better than the NFL.
No.
I may be a Vikings fan, but come on. I mean,
I
okay.
make poor choices in my teams that I cheer for.
Who are you, let's break this down. We're off the board here. We don't have very many notes this week, so this is last
we
man
could-
in
we
and
could
a
talk-
half.
We could talk
You're
about
right.
hockey, but
All right, let's break
talk
this
about
down. We
other
haven't had a sports breakdown in a while. Greg, who are your teams?
Atlanta
Where do
Phoenix-
your allegiance lie? That's not the right word. I'm going to find that word. Help us. Okay, NFL. Go.
Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, it's never changed. I can vouch for that. My
And-
NFL team has never, ever changed.
NBA Phoenix Suns.
Wait, hold on. Just further question about NFL. You're not going to, move away or anything and then suddenly want to cheer for the Cowboys, right?
No, I'm not one of those people that would do that.
Oh, God. God, this is despicable. Despicable.
Just awful.
It's not even like you're living in Dallas.
No, it's like you would move to a small town in Saskatchewan.
Ah,
And-
very weird.
Just
All right.
feel like you
So
can do that.
NBA Phoenix Suns. I'm still in the air for NBA. Used
Eh.
to be Oklahoma.
Why
Oh,
don't
to
you put
answer.
Golden State?
Huh?
Why
Well,
don't you
hold
pick-
on. Let me clear this up. NFL
Current-
Vikings. If you haven't picked up.
Yeah, but I didn't say my baseball teams.
Well,
So
hold
I'm
on.
one
I
of
want
them.
to answer.
Oh.
And then your NBA. I used to be OKC. Not that I don't dislike them, but I'm trying to like the Raptors. But I just don't watch basketball.
No, neither do I.
They're very entertaining, though.
Yeah. Remember
I
when
do
we said
like
we're a hockey podcast?
I know. I do like OKC, but they're doing really good. So I'd be considered a hopper if I
Yeah.
switched over. Mm-hmm. And then my MLB is the Giants and the Jays, one in each conference. I allow that. I'm totally
Colorado
okay.
Rockies, Minnesota Twins.
Very
Even
nice.
though I will be honest, the second that I see the Cubs in the playoffs, I will grab every Cub piece of memorabilia that I have. I have 5.
What are those 5? Let's go. Let's
Cup
get
from
deep.
Wrigley Field.
Oh, so you've been
A
there.
pennant, yes.
A nice
Third baseline, yes.
Ah,
Beautiful.
sweet.
Pennant, cup, hat, another hat, and I think a ball.
Their
or
hats are
something.
sweet.
Oh no, my Sammy Sosa jersey.
Great.
It was made out of cork.
You keep tapping your feet. You're gonna pick up. This is gonna be bad. You see
No,
all
it's
these tappings and stuff. This is me with my
Don't-
pen.
Stop.
And all the creaking is chairs. Okay, their hats are sweet. And by the way, to answer your question with MLB,
Yeah.
so will everyone else. They haven't won in
Yeah.
forever.
19.
I think they have the
Oh,
longest professional losing
Yeah.
streak.
I would agree with that.
Sorry, losing streak between
Non-champ-
drought.
between
Longest
championships.
drought. Yes. It's over what?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah.
100 years.
100 this year.
No, I think it's just over 100 years now. I think it was like 1908 the last time they won. Because the Red Sox was 1912, right? Something like that. It's a
Talking about one
long
person.
drought. It's a long one.
Now, what other leagues? And then obviously NHL, we know Flyers, Leafs, Jets. For me, Flyers, you Leafs, Jets. Well, what do we
Oh, like teams that we cheer for, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Other than that, other sports don't matter. Yeah, I went there.
WHL, Wheaties, obviously.
Oh, Red Deer Rebels.
Don't even play that game. Are you serious right now? Do you remember that back in the day?
No.
Cam Ward, Jeff Wojcicka, Dion Phaneuf.
No, I don't remember that.
Because Wojcicka would always fight Jordan Tutu because I love Jordan
Wasn't
Tutu.
Wojcicka on the Atlanta Thrashers at one point?
He might have been.
I feel like he was.
We're terrible fans.
Awful.
We're awful.
Speaking of that, they
Yes.
played Nashville on Saturday.
They did.
A game that Maurice said they were impressive. Because they were missing both Bufflin and Little. And Perreault. And they still came out hard and played really well, I thought. Basically, finally was able to solve the masterpiece, which is...
Pecorine.
Yeah.
Haha, 7-0-1 now. Suck it, Pekka.
They didn't lose in overtime?
No. They
So it would be 7-1.
There's Pekka 7-1 against us now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn hockey records.
I don't learn any. My life is jumbled right now, guys.
Like-
There's so much protein in my body right now. I can't even handle it. Can't even handle it.
Are you going to become a brony one of these days, too?
A brony?
Go to the gym and become a brony?
What do you mean a brony?
Someone who watches My Little Pony and is over the age of 18 and is into their fan fiction?
No, I don't get into like TV shows or cartoons too often.
You don't seem alarmed that there's a following of My Little Pony people who are
I'm okay
like
with
over...
Greg, I've been to the end of the internet. I know
Oh,
what it
okay.
has to offer. All right, guys. Let's
seen
clear this
these-
up. I've seen some stuff. I've seen things that no one should see. And then I'm like, wait, how come I'm seeing this? Wait, why is this real? How did I get here? And then I just go real introspective on myself for like 10 minutes. Like, what am I doing here? And then I realize that it's still open. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm still looking at it. Yeah.
That's when the
very-
NSA is like, we know what you're doing, Cameron.
Yeah. Every email I send is like all the keywords like yellow cake. And all that
Orange
stuff.
basket.
No, yellow cake is like
is
a
it?
code word key ingredient for like bombs, like
Oh.
homemade bombs and stuff.
Oh, I see.
If we weren't black flagged by the NSA before this podcast, we sure are now.
See,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. With the
Things
Silk
you know.
Road and all that. There was like a
Next
1,000
week, you'll learn how to properly arm the bomb.
Yeah.
Not
Oh
just all
my
the ingredients.
gosh. Yeah. Tune in next week when we teach you how to make a homemade bomb out of a faucet.
Now, I hope that people understand that we're not being literal, that we're actually being figurative and sarcastic.
Are you? Are you being
Yes.
figurative?
Yes, because I don't know.
Don't you Lord's name in vain. Don't.
You want to go all takes his own new shit?
You want... I'm talking about Jesus.
Jesus?
Sir, do you have time to talk about Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Look what happens when Dan's gone. Or when Dan's not featuring.
Fucking off the
We
rails.
haven't even talked about anything yet.
We try to
How
get
do people listen to this?
It's just tangents everywhere. Ah.
You know what we should call this? Although I don't know if it has the same meaning. When Dan isn't there to anchor us featuring, it should be called just Tangential Thoughts. Is that a-
Tangential?
Tangential? Type it in your phone. I want to know the meaning of this. I can spell it. I don't know what it means, though.
Oh my God. Can we do that after the podcast? We'll do that after the podcast.
Okay, fine.
We got to keep this somewhat entertaining
Okay.
instead of me typing in my
You're
phone.
right, you're right. And it going silent, especially when I'm counting. I'm just lifting my fingers. I remember when you pointed that out, like when I count, I don't go like 1, yes, mm-hmm. I just go quiet, so it's just like, is that right?
Oh, so you're making 2 now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Instead of just hearing
See,
silence.
the fact that you demonstrated it and still
Oh,
didn't
I
count.
still didn't. Okay, yeah, they beat the Preds 3-1.
Swear to God, I'm
in
not.
regulation.
Neither of us are on drugs. We're
No.
just very happy people.
Stempniak scored, right?
No. Point.
Was that yesterday?
Stepniak has not scored yet.
He scored.
I don't think he has.
Someone scored. That number 20.
That's Stepniak.
Stempniak scored.
Did he? I watched this game and I'm clearly
Jets
out
fans,
of it.
can you back us up?
Drew Stafford scored. The sealer. I know that one. Like the empty net goal.
Oh, I thought you were trying to push a new Drew Stafford nickname.
No,
Drew Stafford,
the
the
sealer.
sealer. What?
No.
Where are you going with this, Greg?
Yeah.
All
Who
right,
else scored
and
in the
now
I did see this though.
go.
Tyler Myers, 10 points in 12 games with the Jets.
9 points.
Is it 9 points in 11 games? No, it's 10 points in 12.
Is it 10?
10 and 12.
I saw on NHL.com it was 9.
Today?
Ah, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah,
Yeah, it was after the game yesterday.
So, yeah.
10 and 12.
Okay.
Had 11 all season with Buffalo.
Points?
Mhm.
Yeah, Buffalo doesn't score.
I don't care. You know what they didn't do tonight?
Buffalo
They
is the
didn't
tank
beat
nation.
Toronto.
They didn't beat Toronto. Toronto won.
Toronto won.
No!
Without Nazem Kadri, which we'll get to later.
True.
We will.
Um,
And then last night.
does that give you the case of the Blues not having Nazem Kadri in the lineup?
Oh. What, are you going to talk about Saturday night? When Toronto got absolutely demolished by St. Louis?
Because...
Or because Winnipeg last night gave us the Blues
Winnipeg,
against the Blues?
I was trying to make a real good transition.
Yeah, I know. And I wanted to squash that transition.
Okay. It really hurt me.
Hanging your head low there.
Yeah.
I was really surprised.
What was the score in the Blues game?
5-4.
What happened? Because I did not see a minute of the game.
I'll let you know. I looked at my phone after doing homework because I'm in like a super huge crunch for school and noticed it was 4-1. I was like, oh, well, that's a shame. Then like 10 minutes later, I looked back again, it was 4-3. I was like, maybe I should go watch this game. What did I see when I watched the game? Jets take a ton of penalties. Pavlik was in net and playing well. And then all of a sudden, penalty by Odell because he didn't like a hit that Steve Ott laid on Jim Slater. So Odell drops the glove, gets an instigated penalty. And then Blake Wheeler scores shorthanded. Beautiful goal. Just ripped it top corner.
Okay.
And then proceeded to get my heart broken when I was just down texting about something to someone. And I just hear Dennis Bayak in the background. And they score! What just happened? And Pavlik let a goal in from center ice. But hey, like, I'm used to this. I'm a Leafs fan. They always get scored on from weird places. Oliver Ekman-Larsson scored the fastest power play goal to ever start a period this year against Jonathan Bernier from the other blue line. I'm used to this stuff happening. I was not surprised. However, I have to feel for Pavlik because he played one hell of a game, and they have to even thank him for the fact they had a chance.
Who do you put in net tomorrow? Hutch or Pav?
Pavlik.
Pav?
I think you do. I think they play, Tampa Bay tomorrow?
Tampa Saturday.
Oh, okay, so it's Florida tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think they have to play Pavlik, not because I feel Hutch is playing poorly, but Hutch clearly needs a break. Like, he's played his good games, he's played his bad games.
He's played pretty average the last couple weeks because they're riding him a lot.
You know what? I said this to somebody I go to school with. I was like, they were winning when they were going back and forth instead of just picking a guy. I think it's time to go back to that split tandem. I know that on this podcast we said we didn't like it. That might be the best way, one, to get the best out of Hutchinson, and two, to get just an
give Hutch a rest.
Yeah, and give an average performance from Pavlik, because a lot of those games, Pavlik would win one, lose one. Get out overtime loss. Win one, lose one, get an overtime loss. So that's still not awful. And
no, it's not
I'm totally okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they should go back to that. And I really felt bad because, like, all the people, all the Pav
the fans already hate Pavlik.
All the haters came out last night after that goal. It's like, you realize that Pavlik plays an average Pavlik game. It's a 6-3 hockey game. There's no chance for a tie. He played superhuman. He made some unbelievable
He wasn't
saves.
expecting to play in that game, but
No.
Hutch let in 4 goals on like 7 shots.
Yeah, and no one talks about that.
Yeah.
No one gives Hutch any criticism. I'm not saying that maybe he deserves it, because he doesn't. He's a rookie. He's learning and he's growing. But everyone is so quick to judge him. And it's the same. It was the same when Kane was here. We're so quick to judge him the second he makes a mistake, and we will not praise him for what he's doing. And it's too bad. And it's reasons like that why guys get run out of town. And it's reasons like that why you have these issues about people wanting to play here. Is like, why would you want to play in a city where the second that if they don't like you, the second something goes wrong. Like, look what happened with what we did with Johnny Oduya. Like, once we made the decision we don't like you, it's tough to play here. No one.
Yeah, and he
wants
made the
you
crucial
here.
mistake, arguably, of like giving up the Jets' very first goal.
Yeah.
People don't talk. Who scored it? Placanich or Camilleri?
Camilleri.
Yeah, they also don't talk about it was Mike Camilleri too. He knows how to score. It's not like it was like Brandon Prust or like if he was on the team then I forget, but it wasn't like it was a third liner. It was like Mike Camilleri at the time was a top line player.
Yeah.
It's like they just overlook that fact.
Yeah, they do. It is disappointing, but I do have to say that there are a lot of good Winnipeg fans, and there's a lot of negativity too, because people love to be negative. It's just part of our nature to be negative. Found that a lot out lately. Not just like hockey, but in like real life stuff. Getting real here. A lot of people like to be negative.
Can I have an example?
I don't want to. I'll just use a very vague example. Somebody just essentially, whenever you say something, they're very negative about what you're talking about, and it's like if you seem to be passionate about it, they kind of step off a bit, but they still show a little bit of negativity towards it, and they just, whenever you bring an idea up, they're just like, oh, that's, not that that's stupid, they're like, oh, but like, last time I did that, I didn't have fun, or something like that. It's just a lot of negativity.
Oh, yeah. Well, people
thrown
don't
apart.
like seeing other people have, like, succeed and have fun when they aren't in that same predicament and situation.
No, exactly.
And especially in regarding sports and Winnipeg specifically, we go from one extreme to the other very fast.
Yes.
When we're winning, best time ever, best team ever. Playoff time, plan the parade. When we're losing, everyone, fire everyone. It's everyone's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems as though, as you said like a couple minutes ago there, Hutch doesn't get the bad side of things ever.
No, he doesn't.
And it's like 4 goals on 7 shots. If that was Pavlik,
Second time this year that he's been...
Really?
Well, third time in the last 3 games that he's been pulled. Second time in the last 3 games that he's been pulled. Got pulled against Ottawa, got pulled against St. Louis, but it's the third time this year and second time this year that he got pulled in, I believe, the first period. Because he got pulled against LA his first game of the year, which was, I think we all remember how bad that one went. But still, it was like, wasn't a good game. Obviously, and I guess people just want to be easy on him, and then maybe that's why I'm a little optimistic for a guy like Ehlers or guys like Patan, because people are going to be so excited that they're not going to be negative towards them, but at the same time, I'm worried that there's going to be so much expectation for them to be good that if they're not, then they're going to be shitty, or they're going to be treated like shit, just kind of like the way that Kane was treated like shit.
yeah, because it's like, oh, you can put up 300-plus point seasons in the WHL and you can't put up 10 here. It's like, yeah, NHL, it's a whole different league, literally. And the guy, you're playing against men, not just kids who are like, first time they're moving away from home.
Yeah,
it's like you are now in
different.
the, not that it isn't the real world, but it's like, it's more closer to the real world than junior hockey is in terms of, you all take steps, but it's like in junior hockey, you could be playing a kid who's 15 or 16. First game, he's still dealing with emotions of, holy smokes, I have to meet all these new friends, so like new school, new everything, wait for my family. And NHL, you're like playing against full-grown men who's been doing this for 10 years.
Or
10,
more.
15 years. Or
You
for
have to
Jaromir
play-
Jagr.
okay.
Jaromir Jagr, did you know that he has more career game wins than the Florida franchise?
Did you know
Isn't that
that Jaromir Jagr is older than both of his line mates combined? Nick Bukestad and Alexander Barkov?
Barkov's what, 21? And Bukestad's 22.
Barkov's 20, Bukestad's 21. I believe is how it works. I could be wrong, but yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, but what I was going to say though is like, and then you have kids like, let's say Ehlers, or even Connor McDavid, for instance. Let's say Connor McDavid plays for the Buffalo Sabres. He's going to have to go against a 10-year-old vet, 2 10-year-old vets named Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin 3 times a year. That's not fun.
Sure,
That's
it'd be
why
fun
it's different.
Yeah.
That's why it's different. He's going to go up and have to play against Carey Price, who's been in the league for 5 years. That's going to be a lot different than going up against Joe Blow, who's in the
WHL or OHL. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I love Jets fans being passionate. Yes, one of our sayings is fueled by passion. It's literally one of the banners in the MTS Center.
Yes.
But sometimes that passion is also like the worst thing.
Misguided passion.
Misguided passion. There you go.
I'm a wordsmith, I must say.
Yeah, you are a pretty good wordsmith.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Well,
And,
yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, interesting thing is we could start watching our prospects grow here in Winnipeg.
Yes, we can. Oh, I forgot about that. Awesome.
Manitoba Moose might be returning. Is it next year or the year after?
Believe it's next year.
That'd be awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's next year.
Man.
Don't quote anything we say on
The
this.
return of the Manitoba Moose and those jerseys.
You think it'd be the Moose again? I think it'd have to be.
It has to be. That's the
Dude,
brand that
is
started
an
True North.
affordable night out
That is
for
a very
guys like
affordable
us.
night out. Dude, that's season tickets or mini packs.
That's Josh Morrissey.
That's Nick Patan. You get a Nick Patan
That's
Moose
Jewel.
jersey. You could get a Nick Patan Moose jersey.
A Nicky Patay.
Nicky Patan.
Nicky Patay.
Actually, I would tell you who.
I get
Eric
Armia.
Comrie.
I get Armia.
Ooh, I get JC Lapon right away. First
Lapon,
one.
really?
I love Lapon.
I like Lupon too, but doesn't he wear like 34?
36.
No,
Or is it 38? 36 or
I thought it was
38.
34.
No, it's 36 or 38.
Really?
I swear, yeah.
I do 36.
but it's GC.
Yeah, ooh,
It's so awesome.
see, I like that. See, you know what? Everyone's like, why are you guys so excited about AHL? Because we grew up on AHL. We were raised on this. The Jets left when we were like 5.
10-year-olds now who've had the Jets since they were like 7.
You're done. It's over.
Yeah,
it's over. You'll
be,
never like it.
Must be nice.
Yeah. How's
a
a good life? Yeah.
We grew up
in
with
the shadows.
IHL.
Yeah. Detroit Vipers. Remember those? The Cleveland Beavers or the Cleveland Lumberjacks. Remember those jerseys? They're nasty. Oh, they were so cool. Or the greatest one of them all, Orlando Solar Bears.
Yes.
The Solar Bears, polar bears
Still a
wearing
team.
sunglasses. Still a team.
Now,
I don't think the Vipers are.
No, neither.
Or the Cleveland Lumberjacks.
Now,
yes.
must also say that the kids now will never remember the fact that Winnipeg had a basketball team called the Cyclones.
Yeah, didn't they play out of the convention center?
I don't know where. I thought they played at the Winnipeg Arena, but I could be wrong.
No, they probably did. I just remember going to a game once, like very vaguely. I remember that logo though, because I had a shirt.
Yeah, it's
I had a
sweet
heather
logo.
gray shirt. Yeah, very distinct.
Wow.
I know. I remember it. Wow.
What basketball league was that?
I don't know. Intercontinental Winnipeg League. It was actually our dad on beer league basketball, and every dad they just put a team together and they all played pickup, but they all had to wear cycling jerseys. Like each dad just got it one night of the year.
They're not going to remember this.
They'll never know. They'll never know. Yeah, but back to the reason that the ice caps are going to be moving is they don't want to deal with the travel costs anymore.
It's the travel. It's the fact that you can't it's not easy.
Convenient.
Exactly. It's not convenient. Because the plane rides...
That's like 6.5 hours, right? Isn't it?
It's a long... It might be...
Oh, less than that, actually.
It might be 4 and a half.
That's still a long time.
Because it's 2 hours to Ottawa. And I think it's 2.5 to Toronto.
Okay, so
Winnipeg.
fine. Let's round up to 5. Let's say
let's say it's 5 hours.
That's great.
That's a 5-hour plane ride.
And if a guy gets hurt at practice ends at noon. You got to call him now. Because they're already late.
It's not because St. John's is a bad...
place to have hockey. No. By no means.
And I actually have an idea who the next St. John's team is going to be.
Which would be who?
When Quebec gets a team.
When Quebec gets a team.
When Quebec
we know what's happening.
Yes. So it'll.
Are they going to be
the two? Here are the two scenarios. It's either if the Greater Toronto Area gets another team, then they'll probably adopt Hamilton, and then Montreal will get St. John's because that's a little bit easier of a travel.
Yes.
Or it's if Quebec gets a team, then that'll become their team. I actually don't know what Buffalo's situation is. I think they are...
Rochester Americans.
Are they Rochester? Okay, that's way too close to even bother with that.
I think so.
St. John's is a great hockey market. It's too bad where they are because they work so well, I think.
Yes.
And it'd be like... So they're going to move them to Thunder Bay where I don't think it's as... I'm not going to say Thunder Bay is a bad hockey market, but it's not going to be as...
Hockey
good.
Crazy.
Yeah. And they could even move it to Regina, but I don't think Regina is another place that would do well.
AHL wouldn't work there because why would... Well, sorry. I'm not going to say it wouldn't work there. Why would you go to AHL when for a little bit less you can go to junior hockey where it's just as competitive in terms of... I'm very biased. I love junior hockey. It's amazing.
Yes, so do I.
Because they try every shift. They're trying to kill each other every shift. Yep. Not literally, but you know what I mean. They give it their all. And not that AHL they don't, but AHL you get rookies trying to make the NHL, and then you get the old grizzled vets just playing out their last couple years.
Like a Mike Richards.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think the AHL coming here, I think this is the best time for them to do it. Because if you think about it, the whole Future Watch from Hockey News is going to get a lot of people super excited about the fact that we're going to have a good
I
AHL
saw it
team.
today. I almost bought it. I should have bought it. I think I got to. I think I have to physically. I just have to own that.
Yeah.
Just to say when it happens, be like, I remember.
Won't happen till 2030.
You don't think the Jets are going to win a cup till 2030?
I'm just born a pessimist. I'm a Bomber fan. Never seen them win. I'm a Leaf fan. Never seen them win. Atlanta Falcon fan. Never. The list goes on.
Craig,
every team I've cheered for
have
never won.
Let's go back in time. Yeah, you've never seen any of your team win. Okay.
I don't want to talk about the Riders. No, we're not. We're not.
No, I've seen the Riders win twice. I've seen the Giants win 3 times.
Okay, we don't care.
Hold on.
We don't need to hear about what it's like to have teams who win.
You know what? Hold on, though. Hold on.
At least my team's gotten to an NFC... Oh, wait, your team did. That's right. Never mind.
Don't bring up that Brett Favre. That's a BS.
What
One of the best statistical seasons the Vikings ever had was against was under the enemy's quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That's brutal. Brutal. But what I was going to say
Were
was...
you not a Brett Favre fan when he was in Minnesota?
I was a Brett Favre fan, but it still stung a little bit.
Okay.
But what I was going to say was, would you rather have the Leafs go... Would you Leafs go to the Stanley Cup final and lose in overtime? You'd rather have them make it to the Cup final than never see them make it to the Cup? Dude, that Flyers one stung. It still stings.
See...
I love Patrick Kane, but not as much.
What? What happened to Toronto in Game 7 against Boston? You know what stings more? Is knowing that there's zero hope for your team right now. That's what stings more. I'd rather see success than see constant failure.
You know, yeah, okay.
Year after year after year.
See,
after
I guess in the early years when I was first a Flyers fan, like, there's always been at least a bright spot on the Flyers.
Yeah, and that's
like,
the way the Leafs were when I was growing up, too.
Yeah.
And then the lockout happened, and JFJ was just like,
have you seen Sedin's numbers? Man, he was real good.
Who?
Sedin. Like, I didn't realize... Sundin.
Mats?
I'm an idiot. Yeah. Mats Sundin. His numbers are crazy.
Yeah.
And he never had anyone to play with. Like,
his best
ever.
winger was probably Gary Roberts and Alexander McGinley. And then maybe Steve Thomas and Sergei Berezin. Like, those were the guys he played with. Decent hockey players, but not, like...
Give him someone!
No. Here's the thing.
He's dragging you guys into the playoffs every year.
If you put Matt Sundin on a line with Phil Kessel, yeah.
Oh, my sweet mama. That'd be like... I don't know if this is a fair comparison, but body size, I'm just trying to think size-wise, because Sundin was how big?
6'4", probably 6'5".
Okay, just body size, maybe not skill, but body size. That's like putting Kessel with Malkin. That's unbelievable. Or Jumbo Joe. Even.
I would say Joe Thornton's a very good comparison.
What couldn't they do? What couldn't they do?
That's like Eric Stahl 3 years ago, if he were to play with Phil Kessel. That's what I'm saying. Like, you hear Tyler Bozak, you don't see that, and we're talking about Leafs here. We might as well touch on the other thing.
Oh yeah, right now, yeah, for sure.
To wrap up the AHL thing with Winnipeg,
the reason they're coming here. Oh, I want to see it.
The reason because Thunder Bay's not ready yet, right?
The Thunder Bay, they were supposed to break ground and start building the arena this year sometime, and it was agreed upon that they were going to move them last year, basically. I think.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that, late last year. They haven't. So in the meantime, they might not be here very long. Maybe 1 to 3 years tops.
Yeah.
And the only thing, one of the few things that I'm worried about, though, is the MTS Center is very busy with concerts. So I think this might take away from their revenue in terms of concerts and whatnot. We might not get as many good concerts. We'll still get amazing concerts. They do a great job of bringing in amazing acts.
One of the best venues in the world.
Oh, for sure. But it's just... Add another hockey schedule to that. That's a lot. That's hockey 3 times a week.
76 games in the AHL?
Huh?
76
in
games.
the AHL?
Yeah. So that's 38 home games.
Plus
potential playoffs, plus potential
We'll round up to 40, and then we'll round the Jets to 45 to 3. That's 85 guaranteed hockey games a year.
Between September and April.
That's 3. What's the breakdown on that? That's got roughly 3 games a week. You got to think.
Yeah.
Wait, how many months is that? 7. 7 months.
Times 30.
7
210 days. So yeah, about 3 times a week.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. And you have to practices. Are they going to practice there or Iceplex?
It'll be used at the Iceplex 100%.
Okay, so just Iceplex now?
It'll be a little bit of both. But
and then you need to let the ice recover. Like, that ice is going to be rough. I bet you the Jets are going to look slower next year. In terms of
ice surface?
Just do ice surface.
Yeah, maybe.
Might be a little sludgy. I don't know. Maybe I doubt it. I doubt it. Because there is a certain
any
standard.
other teams that run out of 2.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Hitmen and the Flames.
They run out of both sides of them?
Yep.
Okay.
Oil King and
Oilers?
Yep. Until next year, Oilers have a new arena.
Yeah.
Let's think.
Now, something that obviously I just thought of being a business. Does Winnipeg have the ability to keep pouring money into these kinds of things? because a lot of people, especially with the decreasing dollar in Canada, it's almost like we're barely scraping by as is with the Jets here. And we're complaining about playoff ticket prices. Like, did you see the release on that?
I did not. Do you have them?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that. I was really wondering that because I got ahead of myself last week and I was like, man, maybe if the Jets make the playoffs, I'll try and bust the bank and go to a game. I'd like to say I went to the first series since they came back because I certainly didn't get to go when I was younger. I remember.
And same with me. I would love to go. And apparently people are outraged, but it's like, okay, if you're upset with a small ticket increase for playoffs, where are you going to find money to go to 3-4 AHL games, let's say a month? Like, for me and you, for the average college guy, the average 20 to 30-year-old, it's a much more affordable night. The other thing is it's much more affordable for the family people, for like people like my brother who's married with 2 kids. He can bring his kid out, and it's like one of those things where you pay $40, $30, and you can bring him out. So it's affordable in that sense, but in the same way, it's okay. Let's say for example, let's say there's 4 games at the MTS Center that week. Let's say you go to 2 or 3 of them. The Jets game, you're spending $80 plus ticket. Moose game, you're going to spend, if you're bringing your family, $120 plus food.
Okay.
So that's $200 alone on food and tickets. So probably, let's say, roughly $400 in that 1 week with only going to 2 games. So it's just, where is the extra money going to come from? That's my only problem. I want it, and I'm going to support it because I felt like I had such a chance to support the Moose and I didn't do it. And I feel like I want to now because it'd be really cool.
I'd pick up a jersey.
Oh, me too.
Now, would you do your last name or would you pick a player?
You pick a player. You pick a guy like Josh Morrissey or Nick Batin or Joel Armia or Brennan Lemieux.
You know what? I 100% support the AHL. Or in the return. I like the AHL anyways.
Yeah, of course.
But I love it. I love it. Like, I know I talked about it on the podcast, but the day that me and a friend of mine, our friend as well.
Kevin.
Yeah. The day we went to go pay for our down payment on our season tickets for the Moose, it's the day that Stephen Brunt, Stephen Brunt's story in the Globe and Mail leaked, and there was a semi-party at Portage-Germain because I was with you, yeah.
Okay, so ticket prices. And then we'll move on from this.
Yeah,
we'll talk
for
about
Winnipeg
the
Jets playoffs.
For Winnipeg Jets playoffs. The cheapest ticket, P7, $250 for the first round. For 4 games together. So this is for season ticket holders only.
This is for 4 games.
For 4 games. For a potential maximum 4 games.
Oh, okay.
So for first round it's $250, second round is $292, third round is $334, fourth round is $501. For 4 games. So it'll be 3 games and it'll be whatever. But it's just for a deposit.
501 divided by 4. 125?
Yeah. For P7s. For a Stanley Cup final.
Now let's put that into perspective. That is like the last rows in the upper deck, last 3 or 4 rows in the upper deck.
Last 6 upper deck.
Last 6 rows in the upper deck in the corners.
In the corners. And behind the net.
And behind the net.
They're not bad seats. I've sat
Not terrible. No. I'm sitting in 314 row 2 in, maybe I shouldn't say that. Whatever, if you want to come say hi to me, 314 row 2.
For the Sharks game?
Sharks game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now every team. You've seen every team.
As of next Tuesday, I would have seen every team at the NHL arena.
So yes, people are outraged about it. So I'm gonna say, $250 for I'm gonna say regular playoff game for the first round. That's $60, $62 a game.
Just
roughly.
Okay.
So you gotta.
Why are they outraged by this?
I don't know. Free Press put some report out because I think they had the wrong information. Because a guy in my class was like, "Did you see the ticket prices for the playoffs?" I was like, "No, I'll look them up right now." I showed him those. He's like, "Yeah, that's $250 a game." I was like, "No, that's per 4." So I think some people thought that was per game, and it's like, yeah, you're really gonna pay $831 per game to sit in the P1s. But that's obviously playoffs.
Okay, so now we're P6. Just say Stanley Cup Finals.
Stanley Cup
Finals. Because obviously it's
all 4 games. P6, $694.80. P5, $824.40. $1,017.60 for P4s. $1,211.40 for P3s.
Okay.
$1,470 for P4. P2s. $1,663.80 P1s.
1663.80.
Yeah.
What's that divided by 4?
About $400. $415 a game.
I'd expect those prices for Stanley
Yeah.
Cup, though.
Yeah.
If you know sports, you expect those prices. Even
Yeah.
business, like that's not crazy.
That's not crazy.
That's the pinnacle of sport. That's the championship. Like
Are
you
not gonna
expect
pay those
prices
prices?
like
If someone's like, hey, do you have $415 P1s tonight for
I
game
do
7
tonight.
of the Stanley Cup Finals? Yes, I do.
that's like I've always thought. I think about this all the time. Say if you're just traveling, okay?
Hey,
And
bank, I need a loan.
Exactly.
Why? $500 right now.
Yeah, right now. Well, that's like, say if you're traveling,
Yeah.
and you just so happen, say Chicago, hypothetically, okay? Not the Hawks, the Bulls. And you know, game 5, NBA Finals.
Yeah.
And they're like $200, solid seats, you're like 200 level. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's the final of a sport.
It's like Final Four.
Yeah, and
$600.
that's another thing that I was talking about hypothetically with like coworkers. I was just saying, hey, if the Jets make the Stanley Cup final, do you try your darndest to go to a game?
Yes. Yes.
One of my friends said no. I'll watch it on TV, and I'm like, you don't know if they're ever gonna get back to your whole life. The Jets. Even Jets 1.0, they never got past the second round.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
ever. You don't know if it's ever going to happen again. So why wouldn't you do it? I know you're with me, but it blows my mind. Why wouldn't you do that? That's like, I've talked to people who are in season ticket groups who opted out of the playoffs. They're like, no, we're just paying. I don't know. So now when they opt out of playoffs, boom, tickets available.
Yeah.
Next person. Like,
Next.
are you, what? You don't know, I know
make
it
sense
seems
to me.
very dark right now, but just, what if? What if? It's the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I understand. And with that dark comment, obviously, a lot of people are worried that the Jets might not make it in. Their playoff chances have dropped.
But your money shifts over to payment for next year.
Yes, exactly. But it's not just that. Like, it's not the money thing. It's I want them to make it, but it does look bleak right now. But all it is show me a team that has been this injured with so many key players. I don't know what team.
And you know what the Jets did in the game against the Blues that I did notice through the score or through the update, like the score app, is that they were down 4-1 and they came back.
Yeah,
they came back. Everyone shut their TV off. Mine wasn't even on. So whatever. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, I shut the game off," and whatever. They still lost, and I'm like, "Yeah, but they didn't give up."
Yeah.
That's the big thing with the huge Jets this year to
other years.
Yeah. They didn't give up. And that's
kept
what
playing.
I love. Like, are you...
No, I totally agree. And the thing is they'll be fighting all the way through April. Like, unless they go on like an 8-game losing streak, there's no way they're going to be out of the playoff picture come April.
Yeah, they're not...
realistically, I was thinking this the other night. They have 15 games left. If they go 8-6-1 in those 15 games...
That's playoffs. Is it
95 points. It's 95 points. Last year was 91 to get it in the West.
This year it's a little more.
It might be a little more. You don't know that. Like, a lot of people are like, well, Minnesota's so hot. They're so hot. What happens if Dubnyk gets injured? What happens if something happens to one of these teams?
The intangibles.
Like, here's the thing that I don't get is you look at all the teams that are surging right now. You look at Calgary. You look at LA. You look at Minnesota. They're one injury away from something bad happening. What if Drew Doughty goes down? What if, Goudreau or like...
That's what I was going to say. Last week we missed Giordano's gone for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
The rest of the year.
It's only a matter of time before that injury shows. And the problem with Winnipeg is they seem to be the only team in the playoff hunt right now that's injured. Wait until it continues. And other teams are going to maybe get injured too. And if that happens, then things might shift even crazier than they are now. And the other thing too is you look at Minnesota, they've got a pretty difficult schedule.
We have a rough one.
We have a rough one.
Real
I'm
rough.
not gonna lie, we have a really rough one. And LA, they're not in a pretty penny either because they got to play in a tough division. But some teams like LA and Calgary get easier schedules, and they got to play Edmonton and Phoenix later on in their schedule.
That's also due to the fact that they're division rivals. So the NHL plans
Exactly.
So there's an exciting finish.
No, exactly. Mm-hmm. And right now, if you look, there's not a weak team in the Central. Even Dallas and Colorado are surging.
Dallas got Tyler Seguin back.
Yeah, and
My
look
goodness.
at them. And Varlamov is starting to play well again. And look at Colorado.
You're never out until you're out.
No, exactly. So until it says that Winnipeg's mathematically eliminated, they're still in it. And you know what? At this point in time, I'd be shocked that if in April we're not talking about them either in the playoffs or still potentially there and fighting for a spot. Because this team, a Paul Maurice Jets, will not end until they're mathematically eliminated. They'll still fight.
Yeah, they'll never give up. And that's what I love it. And that's the one thing, that's one of the few positives I'll take away from that game.
Yeah.
Last night.
I'll take a lot of positives.
Many, but that's the one thing that stands out is that they came back. They were there. That's fine. Every goalie lets in a bad one. It was bound to happen.
Yes, agreed.
Sucks that it was Pavlik. But, nonetheless, they did it. They came back. And I was very impressed with that.
So was I.
Moving on here. Greg, what's going on in Leafland?
Well, let me tell you. Nazem Kadri got healthy scratched on...
Monday? Sunday. It happened Sunday.
Well, the issue with the time change and he slept in. We've all done it. And I'm assuming this is what happened. You check your alarm.
Who did they play Friday, though?
No,
Saturday.
They played Saturday with the Blues. It was the worst game of the year.
It was a shellacking. And so people are taking into consideration what kind of player shows up late after that.
Whatever.
I have a tough time believing it was just a time change because they have schedules put into their phone and stuff. So.
No, I know. But it's still I'm not going to look at him and get really mad. You screwed up. Own it. Accept it. It's over with. The fact that it's getting so drawn out now, and you know what? And I like the way the Leafs did it is they've taken him out for one game, and then Shanahan's like, you know what? You're going to sit out for more. Why? Because this is clearly their chance to say, we want you long term. This is the kind of person we need you to be. This is a commitment we need you to have.
We want you to be a part of the future.
Yes.
Show initiative.
Yes.
And so obviously it's happened before.
Yes, exactly. And we cannot have you be an idiot. Now, obviously, we've had guys like Evander Kane this year missing team meetings. Tyler Seguin missed team meetings back in Boston. And those guys were run out of town. I don't feel the same... Sure, the media's on Nazem Kadri, but it doesn't feel like he's disliked by his teammates or that he's going to get run out of town. I think they're using this as an opportunity to get through to him saying, you need to smarten up. You're going to be a leader in the future. You could be wearing a letter in 5 years. You could be part of this team's rebuild. And that's what we want you here for. So they're probably sitting him down and explaining that to him and saying, this is just for character building reasons. And that, if that's what it is, great. If it's for other reasons, I don't know. Could be anything. But obviously...
I love what they're doing in terms of showing that they want him a part of the future. Mm-hmm. It's just, I found it a weird time to do it just because it's like, well, if this has been an issue beforehand, why didn't you do it earlier? But I mean, hey, I guess now, obviously other people can say, hey, if you're trying to tank Nation, why not do it now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, they beat Buffalo today, but whatever, you win some, you lose some, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't win them all.
Other interesting notes just in the NHL, unless you have more to say about the Leafs.
No, you can go.
Did you know that the Flames beat the Bruins for the first time in Boston since 2003?
Really?
What's that? Oh, with a shootout win. They also scored their first goal in 8 years there. They were shut out for 8 years. They had a streak going.
Who?
Boston.
Really?
Shut out the Flames for 8 straight years. In Boston. Mind you, they don't play every year, but when they do, my Atlanta. And the other day, the Oilers played Detroit, and the first Russian-born rough, Evgeny Ramasco, 33 years, makes his debut. 25 years after Russians came over to join. That's kind of cool. I like it. Cool.
Yeah.
Growing the game.
Why not? No.
I mean, hey, last year we had the first European-born GM, Jarmo Kekalainen.
You know what I noticed today? I was looking at the NHL stats. Nick Foligno's up there and scoring on a terrible team.
Really?
Yep.
Wasn't at one point Columbus a
favorite this year?
Like an Eichel favorite?
This year, yeah.
Connor McDavid?
Yeah.
They were in there for a while. But that's also because everyone was hurt. Yes.
Obviously, they're going to be a different team in a few years, and they're going to have to go through some rebuild phases. This could also be their Montreal Canadian season, where they get a Galchenyuk to shore up their core.
What do you mean?
Well, Montreal was a pretty good team, and then they had that one detrimental season. For some reason, no one understood why. And they got Alex Galchenyuk, and now look at Montreal. They're the beast of the East again.
Is Columbus in the bottom 5?
No. But
You're saying they're there. They could get a player like
they could get a Provorov. Because a lot of people feel that Dylan Strom's going to go higher. They think Strom's going to go 4th right now.
I mean, he's certainly proving himself playing on a team like that as well.
Yes, but
Connor
McDavid is just, oh my God.
He's up head and shoulders. Oh, just talk about Junior real quick. Did you know Nick Ehlers, in 40 games, he had 80-plus points?
Yeah.
80 points.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. He's also QMJ Player of the Week.
I really hope he translates.
I hope it does too. And even here's the thing: is we've never I don't even think it was followed this closely back when the Jets were here, 1.0. Prospects were never followed this closely. I don't think. If you think about it, really, our biggest first rounders were Kachuk and Doan.
Oh, okay, that's
Howard
what you're
Chuck.
getting
But what I'm saying is when these guys were drafted, it's not like their junior careers were so deeply followed. Now with social media, now with the internet, now with all that stuff, it's so easy to follow it, and our expectations might outmeet what actually is out there. But even if, let's say, he becomes a contributing player, a guy that plays second line minutes, if he can play a Marcus Johansson for Washington Capitals, I'll be happy. Whatever. If he can become a 50-point scorer year after year after year after year, I'm happy with that. If he turns out to be more, even better.
That's just a bonus.
Exactly. I want to talk about Jerome McGinley. 20-goal season again this year. Yeah.
Excellent.
All but 1 year, I believe, in his career has had 20 goals.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's ridiculous. I did know he was quite the scorer.
Yeah, well, it's just it's year after year after year, and it's one of those things where you look at it. You look at the draft. The Jets had a chance to draft him. 1.0.
Yeah, but if you play that game, that's a dangerous game.
Oh, man. Do not play that game. That is not a fun game to play.
Actually...
honestly, people at home, try it. Go to your favorite team, whether it's the Jets, the Wild, the North Stars, or the Stars, or whoever it is. Go back and just play that game of, look who we drafted, look who we could have drafted. But it has to be in the same round. That's the only rule. You cannot be we could have drafted Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg in the first round. Of course you could have. Everyone had that chance. You can't look at it that way.
Stay in the round.
Stay in that round. Even just look at first-round picks. And if you're a Toronto fan, it doesn't take very long because they don't have a lot. Yeah. I think this year, if they keep their pick, that'll be the longest-standing first-round picks ever for them. Where they've actually had a first-round pick. They always trade them away. They're we don't need them. It's crazy, I know. It's not a wonder why that team has not won a cup because they don't. They have so much money and they just.
Now that we're talking about this, I'm going to tweet a link. I got to write this down. I heard it on another podcast.
Oh really?
Cam Sharon. He's a statistician working for
the
analytics.
Analytics working for the Leafs or for the Oilers. I can't remember.
I think it's Oilers.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
One of the two teams.
A couple years ago on Canucks Army, they made a Sham Sharon drafter, and it's basically based off of what that team actually drafted, and then based off of just the ISS rankings of who they could have or who they should have drafted, and then there's another one of just the next top junior scorer. Unbelievable. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks could have had Claude Giroux. It's just it's stuff like that. It's imagine Giroux gets Perry on one power play unit.
Well, it's the whole. What happens if Capitals draft Malkin over Ovechkin?
Oh, then Ovechkin could have potentially been Ovi, and then Malkin would be Ovi.
No, I mean, no.
Ovi could be playing with Crosby.
Yes.
Yeah. And then everyone's love for Russia would be for Malkin, not Ovi.
But would that be what it is? Because one of the biggest reasons why Ovi's so good is because of Backstrom. But who would they have gotten to play with Malkin on the wing? Malkin's shown that he doesn't need great wingers, but they would have had to gone out and get someone. What I'm saying is that the search to imagine if Crosby and Ovechkin meshed like Crosby and Kunitz do. Imagine what we could have witnessed points wise. The best duo potentially ever.
I don't want to imagine that.
Imagine that.
Terrifying.
Ovechkin's en route for another 50-goal season this year.
Naturally.
And it's people don't talk. people don't talk about it enough. They focus on his minuses so much, and it's like, I'll take him any day of the week. I'll take him
It's
over Blake Wheeler.
Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
He's minus. Yeah, because he scores so many goddamn goals on the power play.
Here's the other thing, too. Like, I remember Mike Milbury and other guys saying that, by the time the guy hits like 26, 27, when he was like 21, 22, which is weird because, like, we watched him through those years, and it does not feel like he's been here.
As I pointed out, Ovi and Crosby had the same rookie season, yes?
Yeah. 10 years ago.
Yeah. That's the reason Crosby was 87 and Connor McDavid was 97.
I know, it's fucked. It's weird.
We're old.
Yeah, exactly. We are old now. No, but it was cool watching Ovechkin in the season, but I remember them saying that, like, his style, he might be, like, still, like, a 30, 40 goal scorer every year, but he won't be able to play with the intensity he's played with. He still plays with that much intensity.
He just hits a little less, but when he hits even harder now.
Yeah.
Instead of making 10 hits, he makes 5 hits twice as hard.
Do you know he's 230? 230 pounds? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's a big boy. Like, he's strong.
He's 6'4", 6'3",
6'2".
6'2", 230. Sweet mama.
He's built like a Russian shithouse.
Like a Russian shithouse? Nice.
Anything
else to say on this?
What was the one thing I was
What were
going
we
to touch
talking
on?
about?
I was going to touch on something, and I totally forgot.
Ovechkin.
Ovechkin.
The Leafs. You talking about the Leafs won the next rule?
Well, no, that's a dangerous game to play. I'm not going to play that game. It's a weird, mean game to play. No, I was going to touch on this. Who has the worst plus minus in the league?
Right now?
Yes.
A single player.
Single play.
Can I have the conference?
East.
East. Oh, my mind automatically went East. Are they a playoff team?
Yes.
They're a playoff team. This player
Yes.
is on a playoff team.
Yes.
Worst plus minus, I'm going to say, maybe, this is stupid. PK Subban?
Negative.
Is it on a Canadian team?
Negative.
Not a Canadian team, Eastern
There's
Conference.
only one Canadian team in the playoffs, so it's not on the Montreal Canadiens. I'll give you another hint. It's in the Metropolitan Division.
Andrew McDonald.
No.
Damn it.
Okay, I'll give you the last hint. He was traded for on trade deadline from a non-competitive team to a playoff team.
Oh! Braden Coburn.
No. Keith Yandel.
Really?
Yes.
Can't handle Yandel?
Minus 37 or something.
Really?
Season. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Like, how bad is that?
Does it really... Do you hold high that thought, though, of, like, plus minuses?
I don't. I think...
Wait, he was minus what? Sorry, I
minus
lost
like 37.
Whoa! Oh, I thought you said like -7. I was like, wow, surprising. A great season this year, everyone. Good year, everybody. Come back next year.
Did you know, like, top 3 plus minuses over the last 3 years? 2 of them are Tampa Bay Lightning, Andre Platt and Tyler Johnson. Last 2 years.
They don't get scored on.
Yeah.
That's the line that stood out so much when I went to go see him earlier in the year. Like, it was amazing. I was like, dude, these guys are my age and younger. Our age and younger.
Yeah.
And they were just dominant.
Yeah.
Them and Nemestikov, too. That was a crazy line.
Dude.
Palat, Nemestikov, Johnson.
Watch out for that line in the future. Like,
watch out for now.
Steve Yzerman's created a good team.
He knows how to build monsters.
I wanted to just take a note here, obviously. We've moved into now a hockey podcast for the last 20 minutes of this episode.
We have.
And if you stayed with us this long, thank you. But the last thought I want to go on before we close is, do you think it is better to build a goalie through your own system or draft him? Or trade for him.
Or trade for him.
So what I mean by that...
Are you thinking for a specific... Go ahead.
Okay, so what I mean is in the sense of, let's say, Michael Hutchinson. He was through our system. Yet we traded for him, but he was through our system. So goalies like him and Tuukka Rask count as going through your system.
Oh, AHL, like going through the ranks.
A potential trade would be a guy like Ben Bishop or Ryan Miller. What do you think is more beneficial to a team?
More beneficial to a team?
To long-term success, potentially, we'll say. How about that?
Through the system, 100%.
Yes.
But
I do agree as well.
It could be argued for Patrick Waugh.
You could.
It could be argued for Patrick Waugh.
Yeah. I suppose.
But that's a
very
different
true.
situation.
It's very rare. It's a very, very rare situation. So yeah, so Patrick Waugh thing is interesting, but at the same time, it doesn't happen with everyone. It's very, and why this is coming about for me is because you look at Toronto and their savior, and you can even look at Philadelphia. Philadelphia's never really grown a goalie in their system.
They had one, Pelle Lindbergh, but apart from that,
was Ron Hextall bred in through the Philadelphia system? Was he drafted there? I don't think he was.
I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Fans, but
what I'm saying though is that like if you look at the teams that win, you can look at the last four Stanley Cup winners, last 5.
Great examples.
They're all growing in the.
So let's go back quick.
Yes. Quick, Crawford. Quick, Rask went through the ranks with Boston, and then Niemi, who was also in the ranks with Chicago. You could go back to 2009, Marc-Andre Fleury. 2010, Chris Osgood, or 2008, Chris Osgood. 2007 was Giguère. 2006.
There's the exception. Giguère wasn't through the ranks.
Maybe not, no.
But that's still real good odds.
2006.
Real good odds. Cam Ward.
2004, Nikolai Habibulin. Not through the ranks.
That's only 2. All the way back to almost a decade. No, a decade.
Over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And then you could go back as far as 2003. Okay, 2003. Who was that? Martin Brodeur. Through the ranks. 2002.
No, Hasek.
Yes, Hasek. So not through the ranks. 2001. So it changes as it goes on. Like it was.
And there's probably like.
But what I mean though, is from post, and this has been the trend. Post lockout era, it's about growing a team. So if you look at what Toronto has done, and if you look at what Edmonton has done, and you look at what Philadelphia has done, the teams that aren't succeeding are teams who don't grow their talent. And that includes the goaltender. You cannot be successful year after year by trading for it. Yes, Tampa got lucky with Ben Bishop, but when you think about it, they traded for him early enough that I can kind of count for that. But another scary fact, you could think about it now. Ottawa, if they didn't trade Ben Bishop, they'd have Bishop, Anderson, Lehner, and Hammond. You look at what Ottawa's done. Their current number 1 goalie, Craig Anderson, wasn't even a draft pick. He was traded for.
Really?
Ottawa has had so much. Ottawa's had so much talent thrust upon them, and they're still going with a guy they traded for. It's the proof. We just
they don't want to wait.
And it's like one of those things where it's almost better to just grow all your talent through the ranks.
And you know what sucks to being like even look at the Rangers, like the trade that they made last week for Keith Yandel, which we just talked about minus. They gave up Duclair. It's like Duclair is, I don't want to say he's a cornerstone, but like he's going to be a great player for many years. You could tell he could do it.
Yes. Now, the trading works for some teams who are well grown within their own ranks, Tampa included, and as well with New York Islanders. But for most teams, Montreal, Detroit, New York Rangers, Pittsburgh, Florida kind of counts, but not really, Boston. The list goes. Ottawa right now, they're getting hot because of a goalie in their system. And then you can transfer it over the West as well, with Vancouver being an exception and with Calgary being an exception. But a lot of the teams are there because it's grown through the system. And for teams that want to be successful,
in their draft as well.
Yes, teams that want to be successful, i.e., Edmonton, Toronto, Buffalo, Phoenix, they need to not only focus on the players, they need to focus on goaltenders, and there just isn't that focus. I feel like it's all about players, and we'll get a goalie and he'll fix the situation, and it doesn't always work.
Well, because maybe they're still in that. Vancouver was in that phase of win now, and now that window has pretty much closed, now they have to go back to, like, they had to sign Ryan Miller. They're still in that win now phase.
They're at the tail end.
They're at the tail end, so now they have to enter that, hey, maybe we should draft and just go have faith in our team.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that at the time being, same with Jets, we're still in it of like growing now. It's just now we have prospects and stuff to actually show. Because when we first acquired the Jets, it was like, we had Klingberg and Taligan. Yay.
Yeah, it wasn't, and that's the thing too, is it's growth. But what the point is that I'm saying is a lot of teams in this league, a lot of people think the fix always is on the goalie, and maybe it's just better not to trade a goalie and work with him. Like, when the Leafs traded for Jonathan Bernier, that was one of the worst moves they made because they gave away a guy, James Reimer, who took them to the playoffs on his back.
And they took away all the faith they had in him.
Exactly. And he was a guy grown in their system and potentially could have had success. That was the last draft pick since I don't know when that the Leafs had. That was a goalie that went through the ranks and became a starter. Because who were their goalies before? Oh, Raycroft. Yeah, he wasn't one. Festasta? Nope. Balfour? Nope. Cujo? Nope. Felix Potvin? I don't even think so.
I don't believe he was.
Neither do I. I could be wrong, though.
That's a lot of goalies to go back. You just named five, 6 players right there.
Well, and then you could also count Martin Gerber and the other Huref, J.S. O'Bang, J.S. Giguere. Yeah. There's been a lot of goalies in Toronto, and none of them have been bred.
Is there any in the system right now that are showing promise?
I don't know. Maybe Sparks. I don't think he's that great, though. But they had Scrivens and Reimer. Both guys that were drafted. Okay, Scrivens wasn't drafted. He was signed. But still, he played in the AHL.
But he's going through the ranks.
Exactly.
It still counts.
And they just gave up on him. And it's just... And then you look at Edmonton. Who have they had? Look at their goalies over the last 10 seasons.
Well, they just gave up on the one, and now he's flourishing. Dubnik.
Yeah. It was the only one. Because Fats, you could say Scrivens, Habby Boone was there for a little brief stint. Breeze Gallagher was there for a brief stint. It's very, very rare that you can trade for a goalie and have immediate success with him. It's a lot of you have to go through your system. That's what it is. And that's, I don't know where my point is with this, but...
Grow through your system, have faith in what you're doing.
Yeah, and like if you're going for scorched earth,
you're doing.
One of the things that you're going to have to do is give up your goaltending if you traded for it. Like, Buffalo, they're going to have to figure something out. I don't know what their options are. They have Johnson and Lindback right now. Both guys they traded for. Matt Hackett's also in the system, I believe, but he's also was traded for. So I think in some cases, but if you look, of the playoff teams, there's maybe 5 that have traded for goalies. The other 11 are through the system.
So what you're telling is, if you're a betting man, go through trade. The safer bet is to go with the growing through the system.
Growing through the system.
Just have faith in what you're doing.
Have lots of faith in what you're doing.
Now, leading into have faith in what you're doing, it is time for our favorite section.
Oh.
Our favorite time of the podcast.
McEichel Finrovner Watch?
McEichel Finrovner Narner Watch.
Okay. Awesome. As we're going to wind up here.
That's I don't know. I have the 5.
Oh, you want the 5?
Yeah, I was hoping for you.
Okay, Buffalo, Edmonton.
Okay.
No, Buffalo, Edmonton, Arizona, Toronto, Carolina.
Toronto's 4 now?
They've always been 4.
Shut the front door.
Or they're 5.
No way.
That was going off the top of my head.
No.
Why?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That means you got a real good chance at what if, Greg?
8.7%.
I'm going to be there. No!
8.7%.
When's their draft?
Draft lottery in like a month.
Oh, right. I will be there. Yes. Yes. Wait.
Yeah. Like if they were to get first overall, like Craig Button said today, head and shoulders, McDavid's the number 1. He'll go number 1. Toronto is 5th last. They still have a chance, but with their win tonight, they moved ahead of Carolina. But Carolina's 3 games in hand and 2 points.
Ha! Your move, Carolina. Your move.
Actually, Toronto has games in hand on everyone, but is 10 points ahead of Arizona. So I would honestly love, if they got first overall pick.
Even second, still Eichel. That ain't bad. Comparable
even third, Hannafin. Even Dylan Strome, I would take. I would take any of the top 5.
You're probably getting a top 5, Greg.
If they can stay in the top 5, I think they can start something there. And I honestly, I think for as much as I love Phil Kessel, they have to get rid of him. I think they have to get rid of him to get pieces to build around, and then they can bring Kessel back if they want to, as that piece that's going to put you over the top as a winning team. Because you cannot.
It's kind of weird. I don't think that could happen.
But like I said last podcast, he's a Marian Hossa. He's a guy that's going to help you bust through that ceiling.
Yeah.
And get you potentially a cup. Or at least to the cup final, which they haven't done since 67 either. Yep, 48 long years. That's what we're saying. If you have a chance to go to the Stanley Cup final game, you take it. because it could be a long wait for the next one.
Yeah, but look, there's always next year. Will there be?
Yeah. Think about the guy our age in 1967. It's like, don't worry, at least we'll get there again. 48 years later.
How old would he be?
71.
71.
And don't worry, he's got another 5 years at least before he sees another Leaf playoff game.
And each year, that heart pumps a little harder. A little harder, a little heavier with the emotion that is being a Leafs fan.
Could be 80 before he sees another playoff game. Like 9 years.
Playoff, get real, Greg. They'll be there.
Man, I don't know.
In 5 years, I'm confidently going to say the Leafs will be in a playoff. The Leafs will win a playoff series in 5 years. Confident.
I hope so. Hope something positive happens in 5 years.
All right, closing words, Greg.
Thanks for listening again. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Follow us on Twitter. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
We would.
Actually, comment as well.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you think.
Let us know if you'd like to see AHL hockey back in Winnipeg.
Yeah. Many questions. If you have any questions, shoot them over to us as well. We will check. We do check.
On a semi-never basis.
I check.
I check once a week.
There you go. We're on once a week. There you go. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, guys. See you later.